Saturday, guys. Hope you guys are all doing well and being productive. I hope I'm not interrupting your studio time too much here. I just wanted to check in with a lot of you and see if basically you're learning something from Sync 60, even if you're not actually achieving the goals that you set out for with this challenge. So as I've been following along with our Sync Academy members, I've been looking at the progress chart pretty much on a daily basis. And as we've been going through week by week, we're up to week 5 now. Every week, the numbers are dwindling a little bit, and that's pretty much what I anticipated, that as time goes on, people get distracted, other things come up, priorities shift, right? And so most people are not able to stick with an 8-week goal. It's just one of those facts of reality. It's just what happens with human beings. But I want to sort of encourage you with this video that if you are one of those members, if you're a Sync Academy member or you're watching my videos on YouTube, wherever you're finding this content, I want you to, even if you're not achieving these weekly goals, to not let that be a demotivating factor for you. So the point where you feel like you're a failure or you're not keeping up with the rest of the group and feel like, well, okay, I knew, I didn't have it in me all along and I shouldn't even give it a shot. A big part, I think, and I didn't actually really anticipate this when I started Sync 60, but I'm really glad that this is happening. I think a big part of what the Sync 60 challenge is revealing to a lot of you and what it could be, it should be, is revealing probably a lot of your weaknesses and a lot of points where you have a lot of distractions in your life, where maybe you need some help scheduling your studio time a little bit more efficiently, asking for more help from your friends and family or people you live with to help sort of minimize those distractions. Or whatever it is. Maybe you had a too ambitious of a goal that you thought you could achieve, and you realize, you know what, I'm not really there yet. I don't have those production skills yet. I can't really crank out tracks that quickly, so I need to maybe go back to the basics and get some more production skills under my belt before I can get a little bit more ambitious with that. So Dave, what's up, man? So I want to just put that out there for you guys. I recently put a poll out in Sync Academy. I'm going to tell you guys what that poll was. And the results were pretty interesting. So the question that I put out for everybody on the platform was, if you've fallen behind in your Sync 60 challenge, what's been the biggest obstacle for you? And I ask you guys to be as honest as possible. Now, this is a completely anonymous poll, actually. So in Sync Academy, when I put out polls like this, nobody can see what you put on there. So it's not like everybody can see your name when you went on there. But a lot of people were really honest, and they actually put comments below the poll and kind of explained a little bit about what was going on with them. But I'll give you the 5 options that I gave. And these are usually the more common ones. So I just kind of wanted to see and get a pulse for if you're not exactly every single week able to mark yes under that column, or at least, in your own life, wherever you're doing to make sure you can achieve these weekly goals. What's the biggest factor? So the 5 options that I gave were: number 1, making time to create music. Number 2, too many distractions. Number 3, just a general lack of motivation, not feeling like doing it. Number 4, you might have set too ambitious of a goal. You got ahead of yourself and you realize you need to go back to the basics. Or number 5, just hitting writer's block too often. You might have been ambitious and ready to go, but every time you got into the studio, you just didn't have the juice to finish your track, and you ran out of creative ideas. And so that's one of the big reasons you haven't been keeping up with your Sync 60 goal. Believe it or not, the number 1 a reason that people have given so far, and it's actually tied, it's almost tied with number 2, but the first reason why most producers are not able to keep up with their Sync 60 goal is actually too many distractions. So that's kind of interesting, that basically it sounds like, and from the comments that I read underneath this poll, a lot of producers are finding that there are other things in their life that are constantly demanding their attention: job, family, obligations, chores, errands, life basically. And those things are constantly creeping into their studio time. So they're not able to literally just zero out and block out all distractions, all of their obligations, and just selfishly create a good 2 to 4, maybe hour chunk of time in their home studio so they can actually just focus on what they need to get done, okay? So that was number 1. And number 2 was just making time to create music. Now, if you guys watched video 1 with Sync 60, this is exactly why on that first video, I talked about the importance of, some of you guys will remember this, scheduling your studio time as if you are going to go pay for studio time in a multi-million-dollar studio, right? How many of you, be honest, if you were going to go fork out $5,000, $10,000 to go reserve studio time in a really nice studio, how many of you would flake out on that time and have your cell phone on and basically invite everybody you know into the studio with you and allow anybody to call you during those hours. If you guys were investing that kind of time and money into a multi-million-dollar studio, I guarantee you guys would turn your phones off. You would tell everybody you know, hey, don't bother me for the next week or 2 days or whatever it is that you booked, right? You guys would prepare for that kind of an investment, wouldn't you? Because you want your money's worth and you want your time's worth and you don't want to be constantly distracted by things on the outside, okay? You need to treat your home studio with that much care and that much sacredness, for lack of a better word. You really do need to see your studio time at home as if it were $1 million studio that you're paying hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars every hour to use. I know you're not, and I know it's kind of make-believe here, but that is the seriousness that you should be treating your work time in front of your studio at home, okay? And I think most of you are probably not treating it that way. Most of you are probably doing what a lot of producers do, which is you open your DAW, you start working on an idea, and about 15, 30 minutes later, you're not really feeling it. So either you quit it, go watch YouTube, go do something else, or you just start on a brand new song. And so there's a lot of, lack of focus going on there, or your door's wide open. And so, either your kids are running into the room or your wife is coming in or, something's happening, your phone is ringing. And so there's just all this other stuff all begging for your attention while your studio is kind of an afterthought, right? It's just something there. It's almost like you're kind of passively watching a television program. So you're engaged, but it's not your focus, right? There's a difference there. So I think that's what a lot of you guys are doing in your studios. At least that's what it seems like from this informal scientific poll that I'm putting out, right? Is that the distractions and being able to really zero out everything else and just focus on what you need to do to create music. That seems to be the biggest thing happening here. So let me say hi to some of you guys. Asterix, what's going on? Digital Brain, Burn, what's going on, guys? So that's, I think, the big thing that's happening here. And so for those of you that are not keeping up with it, or having to mark no on your progress chart, or just, you feel like, it's just not working out for me. I hope at least what you're taking from the Sync 60 challenge is some self-awareness of what is actually getting in your way, because you cannot succeed unless you actually know what those obstacles are in your personal situation. And there's no one size fits all kind of a fix for this stuff, okay? You have a unique situation, a unique living situation with unique people and unique obligations and a unique schedule that you know best and you know how to work best, right? So, but this is why you got to ask for help from your friends, from your family, from the people that you live with, from your coworkers, from everybody. You need to get support from people to succeed. There's just really no way around that. Because if people don't believe in what you're doing, they don't get it. And they're not willing to sort of, babysit the kids for a while, or take care of your obligations, or go do some of the errands that you usually do for the next 4 hours, but just to help you out. And then you can pay them back afterwards, right? And make sure you do sort of do that, okay? Don't be selfishly just asking, but never give. Always have that trade-off to say, like, listen, if you do this favor for me and help me sort of focus for the next 4 hours, I'll take everything off of your hands for the following 4 hours, or something like that, right? And make that sort of pitch to whoever you need to make it to make it better. But you got to get the support of those around you. And you also need to be treating your studio time much more sacredly than you probably are. It looks like those two things are probably going to be the biggest issue for a lot of you moving forward into this business. What you should see with the Sync 60 challenge is that what you're going through in these 60 days is going to have to be repeated over and over and over again in this business. This isn't like you go to, a lot of hard work for 60 days and then you get to go on vacation mode for 6 months and then come back for another 60 days to succeed. This is called sync licensing, right? This sort of real world, putting your goals down into manageable weekly goals and hitting those weekly goals so that you actually get your album done, you hit the references, you hit the briefs that you get sent by your music library partners. This is called working in the sync licensing business. This is really what it's like. So I think a lot of you guys are getting a realistic taste. Even if you're not even signed with a music library, you're getting a realistic taste of the kind of work and dedication and hustle that it really does take. So you guys know I've always been saying it's a wonderful, awesome business to be a part of. Getting royalties is beautiful, but it's not easy, okay? This is not, you throw out one album and you live off of the royalties the rest of your life, okay? It's consistency. You got to keep showing up. You got to build your catalog, and you have to keep showing up for essentially battle every single day. Of course, with all of that said, it's very serious and daunting sounding. You got to have fun. I love making music. I know you guys love making music. As long as you're having fun through this process, and there's also a big joy. It's not even fun is not a good enough word for it, but just a deep satisfaction you get when not only you start getting better at producing, mixing, and mastering, right? Seeing your progress, like you can look at at a track you did this week compared to what you did 4 months ago, and really hear the difference and go, wow, I thought I was doing good stuff 4 months ago. I really wasn't. I'm actually doing much better now. That is better than fun or just a happy high moment. That is deep satisfaction that you've actually started to perfect and master your craft. I mean, there's really no other feeling on earth like that. Not only that, just knowing that your music can be used for a TV show, a commercial, a movie, a trailer, whatever it is, video game, and you can actually get paid and valued for your creative effort that you've been putting into your music. And I know most of you guys haven't seen any of that in your careers. You've been making a lot of music and spending a lot of time, and nobody's thrown you a dime at all. Some of you have probably been in debt actually because of your music careers. I know that I was many years ago, shelling out music to venues in LA, trying to get those gigs, buying a drum set, paying for rehearsal space. I was just shelling out money. I wasn't actually making any. So, but the only way that those few of you that actually will succeed in this industry get to that point where you're one of the few getting those royalties, getting those upfront fees, sync fees, consideration fees, money coming in your way, it's this consistent work. You got to just put in the work. And so that's why for many years, my motto has just been, just do the work, because there's really no substitute for that. There's really nothing else you can do to succeed, especially in this business, other than consistently showing up and zeroing out distractions as much as possible, creating a schedule where you can get those distractions out of your life for just a few hours, and treating your studio time as very sacred. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to take away from this. So that's all. Brief video, nothing too much going on other than that. So I hope you guys get back to your work, whatever you guys are working on this weekend, and keep sticking with us, guys. We have the next video dropping on Monday for the Sync 60 challenge, and so that one will come Monday morning around 8. That's usually what I've been doing, and then we've got basically a couple more, and we're almost done, guys. I mean, we're the first week into April here, so it's crazy how fast it's gone. Isn't that nuts? Like, it's already been 5 weeks in this challenge. To me, it just blew past super quick. So I hope most of you are at least sticking with me. Oh, that was the last thing I wanted to say, is this is why when I put out something like Sync 60 challenge, you should just do it and not be a passive watcher, okay? Because those of you that heard that I was putting this thing together, was like, okay, whatever, and you didn't actually set yourself a goal, you didn't participate, you didn't actually get into your studio to try to learn this stuff, you've gained nothing in the last 5 weeks. You're no more closer to learning how to do this professionally than you were 5 weeks ago. Those of you that jumped in, gave it a shot, are following along with your weekly goals, but maybe not even hitting them, but at least you've become aware, self-aware of what you need to start doing better moving forward, you've gotten the benefits of Sync 60, even if you didn't achieve your goal with it, okay? This is why there's no substitute for just doing the work, just getting into your studio and giving it a shot, because even if you don't succeed, quote unquote, with your original goal, at least you become aware of what you need to do moving forward. Okay, so anyways, I don't want to repeat myself. I think I've said the same thing 3 times already. So I'm going to jump off here. You guys enjoy. Have a great weekend. I'm loving the weather. Springtime is finally here, at least in Southern California. I don't know where you guys, maybe you're not quite there yet, but it is wonderful, and it's hot out, or at least warm out. So I'm digging it. I'm going to go spend some time outside today because I feel like I've been inside for the last 6 months. So I'm going to go enjoy my Saturday a bit and kind of take it a little bit easy. But you guys, if you're working, get back to work. Treat that studio time very sacredly. Try to zero those distractions out. So that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching.